This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with the 420 news update. I've had my workout today. I'm relaxing a bit, and I'm going to do a quick review of Fright Night 1985 vampire movie that I watched the other night to prepare for my Blood Hunter Thirst and Rage movie I've been watching. A lot of vampire movies. I reviewed another one, but I took it down because I revealed too much personal information on my Daughters of Darkness vampire movie review. But I remember as a kid in the video stores, if any of you guys remember video stores, I remember seeing this poster for Fright Night. And my parents would never let me rent it because my parents were strict. So I never got to see it. And I didn't even know it was a vampire movie until somebody suggested that I watch it. And I loved this movie. I actually liked it more than The Lost Boys. I did review The Lost Boys, and that review is still up, which I liked for the 80s. The 80s remembrance, I guess you could say, or the Neglastia, or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't really like the movie as far as the storyline. I liked Fright Night a lot better. It's basically about a kid that is obsessed with horror movies, and there was a house next door to him that was empty for a long time, and finally somebody rents it out, and he sees that there's women going in and out of there that later get on the news for being killed. And he looks at some stuff through the windows, such as coffins being brought into the house at night and so forth. And the guy having sex with prostitutes that later end up dead. And he starts telling people, he tells the police, he tells other people, but they don't believe him. But meanwhile, the guy next door, who is a vampire, because he's telling everybody, realizes that the kid is ratting him out. So he's got an issue with the kid. You never invite a vampire into the house. The mother makes the mistake of inviting the vampire into the house, thinking that he's just a friendly neighbor. And this vampire is really cool. Very cool. I like it a lot. And basically the story goes on. There is a show that he watches, a late night show that has a host who is supposedly a vampire killer, but he's really an actor. And he kind of befriends this actor, and this kid's girlfriend helped. And they kind of like recruit this actor who's like a TV vampire killer to see if this vampire is real and kill him. And after initially not believing the kid, he finds out that the vampire doesn't have a reflection in the mirror and believes the kid. And ultimately, they end up killing the vampire in the end. Sorry to ruin it for you. And although there's some friction with the kid and his girlfriend, who becomes a vampire for a short period of time, but it doesn't stick because the vampire that bit her is killed before the sun comes out. So just as a fan of the 80s, and I know most of my viewers are actually my age because I watch the analytics. If you haven't seen this and you're a fan of 80s movies, watch it. It's awesome for like the 80s memories, if nothing else. The storyline is good. And apparently there's a sequel, which I am actually going to watch the sequel. I like this one so much, I'm going to watch the sequel. And then there was a remake in 2010, and then there was another remake. And by the way, the vampire in this movie is the guy that plays the voice of Jack Skellington in The Nightmare Before Christmas. for all you Nightmare Before Christmas fans. But I like it because it wasn't overly like fake, where I found Lost Boys towards the end to be like, it like wasn't believable enough for me. This one, yeah, there is some moments where it doesn't get believable towards the end, but overall it's good. And by the way, apparently the vampire towards the end, there's a part where it becomes like a bat type thing, a ghoul type thing. And that ghoul was originally going to be in the Ghostbusters movie, the original Ghostbusters, because it was the same special effects guy that did the original Ghostbusters that did this movie. But the ghoul, who I guess was Slimer in Ghostbuster, they wanted to use this ghoul as Slimer. It was deemed too scary for Ghostbusters, which is more of a kids movie, so they used it in this Fright Night movie. So I would highly recommend it if you are an 80s movies fan or a vampire movie fan. And we got Mike even tipping $2 on this for a non-wrestling related video. Jason, I have been doing all right. To be honest, I've been doing all right. There's been good and bad in my life. Somebody says Fright Night was a great movie. Mike, a week from tonight, Piper will be back. Kerpal321 loved The Lost Boys. As I said, I watched it twice, so I didn't mind it. Fright Night 2 is pretty good. Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. BK Schwegel says Fright Night was an awesome movie. Ralph likes it. Rob Jones. I don't have my glasses on, but it gives me some type of purple and brown thing. Will there be a second interview with the Good? I do not know. I do not know. Nat Marcy from Married with Children was in the movie? Really? I didn't realize it, and I was a big Married with Children fan. Do I like action movies? I'm a big 80s movies fan, to be honest. I really don't like modern movies. Sorry to say that for all the 20-year-olds I've been dating lately. But I overall like horror movies the best, which is why I'm making a horror movie. Someone making a joke, The Lost Boys 2 will star Pat Patterson and Mel Phillips. Apparently there was a Lost Boys 2 and 3 with Corey Feldman in it, of all people. The soundtrack to the movie was good. They Live was the 80s. They Live was a great movie. And I'm happy that Roddy Piper's daughter is the goddaughter to my dog Piper. Pulsar Lights, I should rewatch Interview with a Vampire. You know, Lacey Von Erich got me into this type of beer, this Modelo beer, and it's really good. By the way, we're friends again. And I am going to have her, I'm sure, for an interview soon. Actually, most people, other than maybe one or two, which I'm trying to fix all my enemy ships lately. And I'm back friends with all of the SWE owners. I'm back friends with the World Class owners, although I won't be appearing in World Class anytime soon. But I've been trying to reconcile all my enemy ships because I'm just trying to be a positive person lately. Rose says red, not sure what that means. Pulsar Lights believes Justin Trudeau is an alien. I don't know about that. David says it was a fun movie for him. Michael Collins believes that movies have gotten worse over time. I agree. I think they're too like digitized now, and like I just can't get into a movie where it's like computer animation. I just can't get into it. Like, it's too fake for me, just like wrestling is too fake for me these days. Eric Clark, who, thank you for everything you share on Facebook, loves this movie. I can't believe I never saw this movie until 2022, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. Marcy was the girl in the movie? Wow, I had no idea. Am I going to WrestleCon? No. I have zero interest in that. Didn't go last year either. Actually, speaking of Lacey Von Erich, I sent Lacey Von Erich last year. I think Jenny Santana is taking my table this year, but I'm not sure if she's still going or not. As Mike D coincidentally says, Jenny Santana is hot. Well, I like them both as friends. Maria making a joke. By the way, I'll tell you guys a funny story speaking of milk and girls. And maybe I'll take this video down, but I recently fucked a really hot girl that had recently had a kid. And yes, I might take this down because I'm again sharing personal information. But for the first time ever, she was like squirting breast milk into my mouth. And I was really enjoying it. I never had that before. Maybe because I was adopted, I never had breast milk, but like I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I might take that down because again, I sometimes share personal information on these 420 updates. I watched Jurassic Park with my grandmother, who actually grew up with Richard Attenborough, who was like the English guy in the movie. Mike, what did I like most about the film? I liked the 80s, Neglastia. Like, it brought me back to the 80s, which is my favorite decade. Michael, the brief communication I had with Tony Condello, he seemed like a real asshole to me. Seemed like a complete asshole. If I could find a chick with beer for breast milk, marry her. I'm actually not a huge beer drinker, but this Modelo stuff is good. Expensive though. Mario, oh my god, it was a black girl. Yes. By the way, a lot of people think I only like black girls. No, not at all. I've just coincidentally gone out with a lot of black girls lately. I love Spanish girls. I like a lot of different girls. I have a wide variety of tastes. But I do think that the dating life is not as fun as I thought it would be, for sure. Mike, if you really want to send me stuff, message me at greatnorthwrestling@gmail.com. I don't need a P.O. box. I live in a secure building. I'm not really worried about anyone stalking me. I did have a stalker at one point in my life that I needed a restraining order for, by the way. For anyone that cares about that. Wendell, yeah, exactly. Flavor of the day. Mickey saw the movie in theaters when it came out. Well, I was born at the end of 82. So in 85, when it came out, I would have just been a small kid. No, it was a female stalker, an obsessed person that I made a mistake of having sex with this girl. And she became literally obsessed to the point where it was actually, it sounds silly, but she was actually destroying my life. But I'm not going to get into that story. But that was around 2011, and it got really crazy to the point where, like, I had to tell, like, the judge, if you don't give me a restraining order and she keeps this up, I am going to kill her. And then it's going to be on you because you didn't give me the restraining order. It got that crazy. But on that note, cheers and happy 420 review. I got a picture from someone the other day with a big fat joint that he sent me. And he said, man, I need something to review right now. So I'm glad the 420 reviews are getting over. Cheers. Happy 420.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates.